Okay, you got to see this clip. It's just absolutely everything that you hope, love an American citizen, a real journalist to actually come back at these hypocrite, criminal loving, thug, anti American mooks. It is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to share with you what CNBC's Joe Kernen just did to one of the, he's like the perfect poster child of this feckless, spineless, ballsless, gutless academia, PhD wearing nobody, Mark Warren, who represents, he's just he's like the Daniel. You could take Swallowswell, Goldman, you could take Chrissy Murphy and wrap them all up and put them in a blender, and out comes Mark Warren. So this clip has tremendous value because he schools him on what real Americans want and talks about, why didn't you say the same thing about immigration and deportation when Obama did it? And he did it by the millions. But first, so we're going to get to that. Stick around. You're going to love it. We have to talk about this. Tensions are rising in Iran. The Islamic Republic leadership, the mullahs, the clergy, who have been oppressing these people for 47 years after the Shah was forced into exile in 1979, one of the biggest blunders in world history, committed by none other than a Democrat, Jimmy Carter, maybe the second worst president. I would say the vegetable in chief takes that number one slot, but it could be a close tie. Let me know who's worse, Jimmy Carter or Joe Biden. I would love to get your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments. Things are getting really, really bad. Security forces are going door to door and retrieving, arresting families, protesters, people who have Starlink. They shut the entire internet down. Now they have made an announcement that they are going to have their first, this is how Stone Age their ideology is. God bless the people of Iran. But now they're saying we're going to have our first public planned execution since this uprising, this revolution began. So they're going to actually hang people who've been fighting in the streets, risking their lives. These poor people fighting for freedom, they're going to actually hang them in a public execution. That's the kind of stuff that, it's crazy that it's 2026. And this is even being brought up as a fathomable idea, something that could actually occur. It's insane. And so President Trump has announced that this is the closest he's ever come to initiating some type of military strike, while China and Russia, guess who they're backing? Yeah, you guessed it. They're backing the IRGC, the Islamic Republic oppressors. Here's a quick post that President Trump just made. President Trump just posted this, effective immediately. This was literally about a half an hour ago. Any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I'm also hearing some very unconfirmed, I have to be very honest with you, some very unconfirmed reports. President Trump is actually considering, he's literally meeting with Pete Hegseth and other military officials right now, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, discussing a similar operation that they pulled off in Venezuela when they captured Maduro. They're thinking about something very similar along the same lines to retrieve these oppressive, evil ghoul mullahs who have destroyed this amazing country, which was once the stabilizing jewel of the Middle East under the Shah. President Trump, as Senate Secretary Marco Rubio and other senators have confirmed, is not Obama. He's made that very, very clear. Remember, Obama left the Iranian people in the lurch back in 2008, 2009, then went on to make that horrific nuclear arms deal with them, handing them a huge big bag of cash. It's absolutely absurd. President Trump is not that. He made that very, very clear. So I will keep you posted on all the latest developments, but this is history. I think it would be the greatest thing for this administration, as far as foreign policy goes, as far as the region goes, as far as stabilization, as far as international affairs and relations. This would have ramifications across the globe. Free the Iranian people. The impact of this is immeasurable. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, some of you may have been aware there was a ridiculous rewards show last night, the Golden Globes, which was giving a lot of praise to a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, that I actually have told you guys I tried to watch the first 10 minutes. It is the most propagandized, radical left woke film I've ever seen. I turned it off after 10 minutes. It was so bad. Let me know if you've seen that, the new Paul Thomas Anderson film with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't even know what the name of it is anymore. One battle, something stupid. Anyway, woke crap. So last night was the Golden Globes, where you have a bunch of wealthy, rich people who've profited of our country, profited off of capitalism. They have walled mansions, they have private security, they have unheard of wealth. Get together, congratulate each other on their undeserved positions, on their undeserved status, on their undeserved wealth, on destroying our country, essentially, which is what this One Battle After Another, I think that just came in my head, is the name of the movie. They're offering all this praise. Well, guess what? They were wearing these pins last night. Mark Ruffalo, who's one of the most degenerate members of this clan, this cult called Holly Weirdo. I'm not even going to play for you the clips, because the clips are going to literally make you head to the bathroom. It's so bad. But you got Wanda Sykes. You got this other actress who I don't even know her name is. They're wearing this pin saying "Be good" in honor of that radical left deranged lunatic who obstructed traffic, who tried to run over a law enforcement officer, which I did a video yesterday of Tom Homan in a heartbreaking fashion. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment. You could go to my channel too. They're celebrating criminals wearing pins. This Ruffalo hack, talentless hack. And what happened to Hollywood? They're wearing these pins celebrating criminals, celebrating people breaking the law, celebrating people fighting our hard-working law enforcement officials. I just have one question. You want to talk about hypocrisy? Where were their pins? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember them ever wearing pins for Laken Riley, for Jocelyn Nungare, for Patty Marin's daughter, Rachel Marin, who were brutally murdered and raped by the illegal criminals that Biden and Kamala let in, that these very same law enforcement officials are trying to get out of the country. Where were your pins then? The hypocrisy knows no bounds. I am like, I've been on a Hollywood kind of boycott for ages now, because, I sit at home sometimes after a long night of work, and I'll watch like old movies. What did I watch recently? I watched The Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. I watched a amazing Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable film called The Misfits that came out in 1960 with Eli. I love old movies. My thing is, leave me alone at the end of the night. I've got my little snacky snacks. I call them snacky snacks. I got my little drink, my little beverage, whatever it is, and I love going TCM, Turner Classic Movies. Leave me alone. I'm in heaven, because I love the old Hollywood. I love film. I think film is the most powerful medium. What you're watching right now is, in essence, it's all storytelling through the video form, through visual form. And so I love the old films. Hollywood has gone so downhill. So I've boycotted really anything. I tried to give, because I do have respect for Paul Thomas Anderson. I loved There Will Be Blood. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. And I thought Leo was a great actor, in a lot of Scorsese films, The Departed, Gangs of New York, et cetera, Wolf of Wall Street. Even though Wolf of Wall Street is pretty explicit and just kind of deranged, I can appreciate the storytelling and the craftsmanship, but these guys have gone downhill fast. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. They always stick up for the worst of the worst. And what's worse than all of this, mentioning my first story about Iran, they've remained silent. They will stick up for deranged lunatics, call them courageous protesters. But the real revolutionaries, the real people fighting for their freedoms, the real feminists who are just trying to be able to live their life free in an open society where Iran was once great under the Shah, they're silent. They haven't said a word. And you know what? They're losing their base as they deserve, because a lot of Iranians who said we were Democrats are really pissed off about this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you. And speaking of hypocrisy, here's the clip. I just absolutely love this. I love every second of this. Tap the thumbs up, share this with everybody. Here you go. Watch this ridiculous, pathetic excuse of a man, AKA a Democrat. You know, there used to be a time when you fought for the enemy. It was called treason. Now it's called being a Democrat. Watch him squirm. Watch his disgusting little creepy grin as he tries to wriggle his way out of the truth that Joe Kernen from CNBC lambasts him with. Watch.
They're going city to city to try to disrupt authorities from lawfully executing whatever their job is. Disrupt, stop, obstruct what they're trying to do. That's against the law. That's not something that Democrats or anyone should be ginning up and telling people to do. Now, I know Trump has deported or sent back 350, 400,000 people. Barack Obama, your guy, as you called Trump, but my guy, it was 5 million. It was 5 million over 8 years. Now we're at 350,000. What changed with Democrats on it? I know Biden let in 12 million. Is it about votes? Why didn't these people, why isn't it a crime to be here? Not that they haven't committed a crime.
The border being as open as it was under Biden was one of the reasons Trump got elected. But the idea...
So you're glad it's closed now?
Do I think we ought to not have a fully open border? Absolutely. I've said that all along.
So with the 12 million that came in, what do we do?
The question I have for you is closing the border versus sending out ICE agents across the country to randomly pick up people based on quotas that have committed no crime.
How did Obama deport 5 million?
At the border.
I think it was a lot of that was done at the border.
They were sent back.
And the truth is, I don't think the American people signed up for this, where you see people who are working. There ought to be a path towards legality. We've worked on that. We've screwed that up, immigration reform, for years, both sides. But the idea that we're going to send in these ICE agents, by the way, Joe, do you realize ICE used to take 5 to 6 months to get trained? They've now lowered the training period to 47 days. Why 47 days? Because Donald Trump's the 47th president. Tell me that's a rational approach.
I'm not obviously I'm not going to take that bait and say it's a rational approach, but
Joe, you can't pick your facts.
Senator, at this point, there's 12 million people that are not supposed to be here. And why did that? Why was the border open? You said, oh, it shouldn't have been, and you kind of
it was the same. It was for decades under Bush, Obama.
Nothing like during the Biden administration, obviously. Why? What was the rationale for that? And I have seen a lot of your comments about people didn't vote for this. I don't think, obviously, Democrats didn't have a good idea what people were voting for, or you wouldn't have lost the presidency in 7 swing states and the Senate and the House. So you don't know what people were voting for. They were voting for this.
And we'll see what happens in 26.
It's so true. How can you even make that statement? I don't think people voted for this. They voted exactly for this. I voted 3 times for this. If you did too, just write the number 3 in the comments down below. I don't know about you, but I voted 3 times for this. The reason he's so upset, what he won't say, and I wish Joe would have pushed a little bit more. He kind of did. He said, is it about the votes? And Obama did this, 5 million. And it wasn't just as Sorkin tried to say, that was at the border. No. They enforced the law. This is the law. We afford law enforcement officers the opportunity and the task to enforce that law. They're not policymakers. They're not lawmakers. They're simply doing their job as is handed down to them by duly elected officials that we, the people, voted for. So this asinine notion, nobody asked for this. I don't think anybody asked for this. You've got the lowest approval rating of any political party in the history of politics. And you have the audacity to presume that you know what I think and my fellow Americans? You know what? You have the audacity to presume you know what 80 million Americans who voted in the 2024 election exactly for this. He ran on this campaign. This is exactly what this was, the number 1 hot button issue, because Biden and Kamala, the borders are at the time, completely flubbed it. clueless, out of touch, fighting for criminals, fighting for the bad guys. 2026, he's right about one thing. 2026 is everything. We have to get rid of the filibuster. We have to get rid of this non-in-person 60 Senate vote cloture loophole. We got to pass our America First agenda. If we lose the House in 2026, all for naught. I can't wait to get your thoughts on all this. Please tap that thumbs up if you love America. Help us make this video go viral, because our mission here is to make common sense go viral. And you can help us. Share this out with everybody. Tap the thumbs up. And don't forget to check out this video. You probably missed this video yesterday. Go check it out. I'll also leave it in the pinned comment, but you can click right here. Also, tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It doesn't cost you a thing. Turn on the bell notification so you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.